Hey Pisceans, how y'all doing? We're going to be doing your general reading. So, wow, your meditation. I saw a beating heart in the middle of the ocean. I feel like I always am taken to the ocean with you guys, but why not? Beating heart in the middle of the ocean. And then I heard, is it Billie Eilish, I think? Billie Eilish, that, You're a Tough Guy song or whatever. But there's like that very, it's like a very specific beat to that song where it's like, doom, 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 doom. And I saw that kind of like going with the heartbeat there, like under the water. And then I saw this image of you guys basically taking all of your feelings and channeling them into creative energy. So it's interesting because as Pisceans, you feel things very deeply. You're highly intuitive. But it's one thing to feel those things, and then it's another thing to harness those feelings or convert them into an energy source that is creative in nature. It also feels like the name of the game for you guys for is emotional balance, which is really interesting. When a Piscean, an experience, when a Piscean, because there's shadow and light aspects to every sign and every attribute of every sign. But when a Piscean who feels things very deeply is in a place of emotional balance, that translates to their emotions, their feelings, their intuition being a reserve of power, right? It's like going to the gas station going to get petrol, right? And it's like, if you view that fuel, your emotions, your feelings, everything, every feeling, I'm not talking about just positive feelings. I'm talking about fear, despair, anger, happiness, love, ecstasy, joy, all of those feelings. And you take that and look at it in terms of like it being a gas pump or a petrol pump, right? I'm going to put all that there, and then I'm going to access it and use it, right, to fuel, right, whatever it is that I'm creating or whatever it is that I'm working on or moving towards. Fascinating. Let's see what your animal energy is. And on that note, let's get to the cards. That was another part of your meditation too. It was like a public service announcement. At one part it got kind of funny. It was like, oh God, I'm so here for it. It was like this public service announcement that came through, and it was like, have you been feeling overwhelmed, feeling things so deeply you feel like you're drowning in your own emotions? Well, the answer is right here. And all you like, it was very like that, but it was very like tongue-in-cheek kind of fun. And it felt like also that part of the tonic here for you as well, and part of what empowers and enables you to channel your emotions and your feelings into a source of reserve power for yourself, is your humor. Humor dictates perspective, and perspective is also the source of humor. So there's something about that for you. Okay, so we got stingray and oceanic animals, which I'm absolutely here for, and I'm not surprised at all to see. So here we have the chakra system represented here as well for you. And what's really interesting is we're talking about feeling things deeply and using them and this is giving me like a gas pump or a petrol pump realness, a little bit it is. Also, this equates to the strength key in the tarot, right? This feels so perfect for you with what I'm picking up in the energy in your meditation that I'm really delighted for you right now. Because listen, there's an aspect of strength that comes through where we can easily say, like, what do most people say, right, when the strength key comes out? I've said it myself, right, where it's like, well, strength comes up when strength is needed. So strength through diversity, calling within the divine reserves of power and hope and faith within and around you to help you carry through. And that's brilliant. I'm getting a little different soup here. A little different soup here for y'all. Your power, it feels like, this time moving forward, your power stems from not just your inner reserves, but inner movement and stillness. Inner movement and stillness, because I keep getting this vision of there's a lot going on underneath the surface that you get, like the top of the ocean, right? It looks very still, but underneath is like an atoll where it's like this like inner like it's this build of power and this inner surge forming and forming and forming and forming and forming and forming and forming. But then it's very calm up top. I feel like you guys are in a position to really accrue a lot of power right now. We already talked about with the sources, your emotions, your feelings, your intuition, right? But it's like you're accruing all of this energy and it's building and it's rising and it's aligning and it's balancing and all of these things, right? Even this shape here, this perfect square, right? Well, or is it two triangles, actually? I rather feel like for you, come on, pick a finger. Where it's like two triangles, right? Coming together with the mind, body, spirit, and then mirroring itself for wholeness and completion within the chakra system. It's brilliant. I feel like there's a lot going on, but I feel like it's powerful. And to look at you, you wouldn't necessarily know. And what I'm getting from that as well is that sometimes it can be very helpful to keep what you're doing or where you're going to yourself. So that it can accrue and build an energy. That's not saying not to, ask for advice from a friend or, bounce an idea off of someone, right? Communally, as Pisceans, you do very well within communal efforts and community ties and all of that good stuff. But there is an aspect here. If you are working on something, building something or moving towards something, and it's starting within you, and it's going to be rather significant and it's beautiful, and you are taking all the power that you need to source this and fuel this within yourself, which is really cool. The Oracle at Delphi. Are you kidding me? What on earth have we been talking about? The Oracle at Delphi. So within Greek mythology, the Oracle at Delphi would, receive messages from Apollo, the sun god, right? And then this priest guy over here would translate the messages that came through this fine lady, right? I like that she's up on a pedestal here, like quite literally up off of the ground, right? And it's interesting because I'm looking at the chakra alignment. You know her chakras are aligned, honey, in order to get those divine messages through. Hey! So there is an aspect here of being one in alignment. I'm getting a very strong Ace of Wands energy from this as well, which is about that creative power, taking that, magician's wand and using it to manifest and create, right? And I want to be clear on this. Not to manifest or create for the sake of getting something out of it or monetizing it, but for the sake of creation, because we are creative beings. We are creators. That's why, like I always say, like if ever you're feeling down or blue or confused or lost or stagnant or two in your own head or whatever it is, create something. Because that reminds you of who you really are, which we have a lot of questions about who we are and where we really come from. But one thing cannot and will not be denied. What separates us from the animal kingdom, darling, is the fact that we are creators. That's what it is. Okay. This Oracle at Delphi is very much about clicking into your third eye sight, clicking to the, insights and inspiration that and using them as, a point of motivation, clarification, and purpose as well, right? Oracle at Delphi. This feels incredibly powerful. I feel like this strength energy here with the stingray as well, it feels like it's less of like, you gonna need strength, baby. And it feels more like you are strong, right? It's cool. It's very cool. Ooh. Oh, suka, suka, suk, suk. The Ark of the Covenant. Oh, the Ark of the Covenant. Number one. There is something incredibly powerful about this reading. I was just going to make a joke and say, and it's nothing to do with me. It's what's coming through though. It's interesting. It feels very strong, empowered, purposeful. It feels good, really good. See these two flames here? Flame here, flame here. Flame of inspiration, Ace of Wands, fire suit. Okay. The Ark of the Covenant. Oh, and then the bonfire. Hello and goodbye. You know what's really interesting about this? Remember what I said about when you're working on something or working towards something or going in a particular direction, that it's good to keep a lot of that to and for yourself so that you can allow that energy to accrue without the opinions or influence or energy of others, right? But it also doesn't hurt to bounce an idea off of a friend or like-minded individual because Pisceans do well with that collective rapport. And then we have the two, dudes here like talking about life, important things, having a nice friendly debate, right? The Ark of the Covenant is very much, it is number one for a reason. It does equate a bit to the Justice key in the Tarot, which is beautiful Libra energy, about balance, but this is also about a shared perspective. Shared perspective, right? We may be from two different walks of life. We come from two different desert tents. But when we meet around the fire of inspiration and transformation and life force, right, we're able to connect and find equal footing. And all truly are connected and equal, right? So there's something to that here. Yeah, there's a strong sense of this power and strength within you, but all these community ties as well, having that equal footing. But also I find there's an aspect here of I'm picking up on a shared purpose. Shared purpose. We come together because we have a shared purpose. We manifest ourselves into a job situation with other like-minded individuals because we have a shared purpose. We end up meeting certain people along our paths when we're working on something, manifesting something, going into something new, and we meet these new people because we have a shared purpose. There's something about shared purpose here. And being open to these, individuals or opportunities that come towards you with that in mind, right? Because look at this. We have two people here, right? One, he's obviously deferring to her and she's deferring to, who can't be seen, who is not depicted, Apollo, sun god of inspiration, illumination, right? Also, Apollo, also the god of music and science as well. And then we have the Ark of the Covenant, which is these two other people, right? With the shared purpose, the collective energy, the coming together, right? Then we have diversity with the 5 of Scrolls. This is exactly what I was saying before, wonderfully enough. I just love it when it lines up like that. Diversity is about being open to meeting new people, engaging in new opportunities, right? And allowing yourself to be open to a different way of doing something, right? New experiences require that you, allow yourself to be open to the unknown as well, right? How open are you to the unknown? You might find, a certain surge or a certain freedom comes in really, it's interesting because we do have the Oracle at Delphi, which is about accessing that ancient wisdom that is within you, right? Accessing that clear-sighted point and purpose, right? Allowing your intuition, your feelings, your emotions to fuel you and be your petrol, right? And then we have the Ark of the Covenant here, which is about taking that energy and then allowing it to build and surge as you share it with others in terms of, coming together for a shared purpose, or even just to, be in a shared energy where your strength is multiplied by who you surround yourself with, right? And then you have 5 of Scrolls here, diversity, which is asking you to be open to new people, places, things, ways of doing things, and even different points of view that might challenge your own, but might in turn either strengthen your initial position or open you up to a brand new way of seeing or something or doing something, right? Really cool. It's really, really cool. Okay. I'm hearing that this stingray, there's a shadow aspect to the stingray, right? It's kind of like where it lives in the water. It's a shadow aspect to it. And then we have the Oracle at Delphi, which is about Apollo, the sun god, the fire, the illumination. And then we have the bright light of day as well. And then we have the chakra system, which is illuminated within the stingray, which is also about divinity, right? I'm hearing that there is a big opportunity here for inspiration and healing, but also there's an aspect of the more open you are to, how do I put this? I don't want to say the more, whoa, look at that, the 2 wands. Is that a stingray or a manta? Either way, it's similars. I don't necessarily want to say the more open you are to, being wrong, but there feels like there could be a missed opportunity if you are not willing to expand your point of view and your belief system. Okay? Something in that. Knight of Wands. Hello. Are we talking about sun and shadow? And then we have the ostrich here with his own shadow. Knight of Wands. Again, wands. I've been feeling this wands energy the whole time, right? So with the Knight of Wands, it's a passion. It's a passion, it's a purpose, it's a forward moving energy, right? But what's interesting here is how it's depicted is the ostrich is standing still, right? And then we have the oracle at Delphi, which is seated, right? So there's an aspect here I'm telling you of this inner building, this inner movement and stillness, this accruing of energy that is building within you. And I'm hearing, how can I best facilitate that? How can I best, work with that? And what I would say the best way to work with that is to be still and present and open and in the given moment that you're in. Okay. What's coming through? I had a thought recently that is coming up for you right now. Well, it wasn't necessarily a thought. It was something that I channeled, actually. I can't really take credit for it. But look at the now moment as your battery charger, right? So if you're a phone, okay, let's all be phones. If you're a phone and the now moment is your charger, then the way that you can connect to that charger, and what is getting that charge do for a phone? It gives it what? Energy, life, the ability to function and create and work, right? Look at the now moment. Consider looking at and treating the now moment like your battery charger. So when you try to project yourself into the future, or you're focusing a lot on the past, you are missing out on clicking into the charge that is the now moment. That's where the gold is for you at this time. The now is your battery charger. That's going to give you the life. That's going to give you the energy. That's going to give you what you need. Okay? And every time you project too far ahead or looking back to the past, right, you are draining that battery life down. But by allowing yourself to be in the moment, you are staying plugged in and on a, high charge, as it were, right? Ark of the Covenant. The other aspect of the Ark of the Covenant that I would be remiss not to mention is that the Ark of the Covenant is about being exactly where you're meant to be. The Ark of the Covenant reversed, I would say, is going, am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I feel like I missed a step somewhere, right? The Ark of the Covenant is the opposite of the Tower. The Tower, I call it the Great Rearranger for a reason, right? The Tower comes in when we have, taken some steps off of our given or higher self-intended path and made choices out of fear as opposed to love and faith, right? So when that happens, then the Tower has to come in and reroute us accordingly, right? Part of life. The Ark of the Covenant is the opposite of that energy. The Ark of the Covenant is going, hey, we're getting charged from this now moment, being here together, exchanging ideas, and understanding that we are exactly where we're meant to be at this given time, meeting up in this place, right? Look at the time period of this. This is a time without cell phones. There's no electricity. Everything is by firelight. So we're also looking at this aspect of a, place or happening outside of the modern time period in which we're currently in, which also speaks of disconnecting from a lot of that useless stimuli of, commercials, technology, chatter, all of that stuff, and clicking into what? The quiet, the now moment, the community, the conversation, the connection. Right? You are creating something. It's just what it is. You are creating something, and it feels like it is something that, it's really up to us. Okay. I can't. It's really up to us to figure out when we set out to create something or we have an idea. Our job is to show up every day, be present, and allow our intuition and guidance to inspire us onward and understand that the amount of effort that we put in will be directly proportionate to the success that we experience. Okay? What is not up to us is to figure out exactly how it's going to go. The ABCs and all of that good stuff. It's not really up to us. We're just being asked to show up, be present, and act on the divine inspiration and guidance and create or bring into experience or manifest or whatever have you. Whether this is relationship, work, soul purpose, energy work, whatever this is for you, business, right? I'm also hearing to not overthink it. An aspect of being in a place of emotional balance and using it is be the water sign, be the Piscean that you are, right? Piscean, sign of the fish, right? Fish medicine tells us that we can avoid confusion and stalemating when we go with the flow and come from a place of least resistance. 8 of Wands, upward movement and ascension. messages, communication, community. Horse speaks of freedom, allowing yourself to be free of your perceived limitations and restrictions that you place on yourself or your given circumstances might place on you, right? Which you co-created, by the way. Eight of Wands with the Ark of the Covenant. We were talking about sharing ideas, drawing your energy and purpose from the now moment, being exactly where you're meant to be. So what I'm seeing here is that knowing that you're in a place that you're exactly supposed to be in without wishing that you were somewhere else in some other time with somebody else doing something else, right? Wishing that you were anywhere outside of where you are in any given moment is missing out on the opportunity that this energy holds, because it is from this now moment of understanding that everything is perfect as it is in this now moment is going to allow you to propel yourself upwards, right? That is the opposite of stalemating. It is the opposite of the Tower. Beautiful. Stunning. You know, there's an aspect here too. It's that the more you're in that given set energy, right, and allowing yourself to be fueled, that's what's going to propel you forward like a slingshot, right? Slow down, be still and present in order to catapult forward, right? Five of Scrolls, love us today. Okay. Strength. We haven't been talking about this the whole time with this brilliant musk ox realness. So strength. We've been talking about this, right? But there's an aspect here that's so beautiful with the diversity, because remember when we were saying that, you know, the aspect of this key is about being open to doing things differently, seeing things differently, being open to different potentials or paths that may be outside of how we would normally, you know, see something or consider our options to be at any given time. Then we have the strength key coming up here with this musk ox full of this absolutely full cart. And I feel like the message behind this, there is infinite potential before you. Infinite potential before you, if only you are able to see it and identify it for what it is, meaning infinite potential, not obstacles, potential, not delays, perfect timing. Your perspective dictates this aspect. Your perspective dictates this aspect. How open can you be to flexibility and change moving forward, right? You see this, right? There's an aspect of allowing this energy and insight to accrue within you, coming from a place of taking your charge from the now moment and understanding that, you know, your shared purpose, whatever this is for you, whether you're part of an online community or the people within your given atmosphere or your social network, whatever this is for you, understanding that it's all serving a greater divine and collectively shared purpose, right? Which catapults you forward. And then you're here with diversity, with the Five of Scrolls and strength. This is asking you to be open to do your research, to be open to inspiration, be open to ideas, suggestions, different points of perspective, right? Put all that in the cart, is what I'm hearing. Put all that in the cart, honey. And I love, again, back to this, you know, infinity symbol, which is also shown on the Magician key as well. Right? Which is that infinite energy, that there really is no depletion. It's just energy that recycles itself, right? Energy cannot be destroyed. It's just repurposed. There's something in that for you. I'm really drawn to the blue as well. Let's talk briefly about the throat chakra. I'm here to talk about the throat chakra and how you use your words, how you express yourself. That's coming through here. I'm hearing that, you know, for a good group of you guys, a lot of your success is going to be directly linked to how you communicate. Now, for some of you, this is how you communicate with others, how you present yourself, how you communicate with yourself about yourself. Others of you, this is really about your inner dialogue. How do you talk to yourself? Can you observe how you talk to yourself? You know, we all have something. There's a method, a training method that's called the Grotowski method, and it's primarily used for actors, but Grotowski method introduces this theory of the inner judge. I'm sure it's cited elsewhere as well, not just Grotowski, but how I came to know of it was through the Grotowski method. And there's this idea of the inner judge. And we all have the inner judge, honey. Like, I don't care who you are, you have an inner judge, okay? Inner judge can come up and say, you can't do that, or that's not going to work, or you're not good enough at that, or you need at least 7 years of schooling to do that, or whatever that is, or you're not pretty, or, you know, don't eat that, whatever that is. When those voices of the inner judge come up, you're being asked to observe the voice of the inner judge and say, whose voice is that? And more often than not, we could surprise ourselves. Assume the Oracle of Delphi position. Go inside and really sit with it, and don't ignore it. Don't push it aside. Go, hey, inner voice who just told me that this venture that I'm working on is going to fail. I would like to call you to the witness stand. Oh, okay. Because that inner judge wants attention. So give it attention. I'm going to call you to the witness stand, inner judge. Okay, inner judge, reveal yourself. And then allow it to reveal itself. And oftentimes that inner judge is going to take the form of your third grade teacher who absolutely tortured you and told you that you were dumb and were never going to succeed at anything. Or it might take the form of your mother who was really hard on you and never gave you a compliment a day in your life. It might take the form of, anybody really. Someone might even surprise you as well. Someone who maybe you go, wow, I didn't even think you had that much of an influence, like a gym teacher or something. But then you're like, oh God, like you've been with me whole life in the form of this inner judge telling you to stop eating that or whatever that is for you. Okay. Take that inner judge and put it on the witness stand, give it some time in the light. And in doing so, you're able to, work with that and heal it. Right. At least you're co-creating it, right? I mean, it's kind of a sticky territory because it's like, co-creating, this happened to me and all of that. But it's like you can observe, those voices within yourself and go, how can I incorporate into a place of emotional balance where I'm using this as fuel and directive moving forward, right? You are in a position at this moment in time where you are being asked to, and I'm getting this from the Strength Key as well, to step into your personal power, right? Take the reins of your life and times and move forward in a direction or in a way or in a time that might be different than how you would have thought. But don't miss out on the plethora of possibility before you because of restricted vision or fear-based thinking or inner judges that you don't want to bring onto the witness stand. Okay? Let's get an article. Woo! Pisces. Oh, I love this so much. Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with it. This is so perfect. This goes perfectly with the Oracle of Delphi. So this is Taya. So do you see all these eyes here? Wait. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're here, they're there, they're there. So Taya speaks of psychic vision and insights. So I'm really obsessed that she came up with the Oracle of Delphi. What I really like here too is that, Taya's kind of like got this like half eye closed situation here as well. And I'm getting an owl energy here as well. Owl, Oracle at Delphi, owl, owl, owl. I feel like owl is a very specific sign for someone watching this, or owl is going to come into play in some way. Yeah. So yes, Taya speaks of these inner insights and visions and intuition, right? There's also an aspect of seeing clearly, right? So, and this kind of looks like a witness stand, doesn't it? So there's an aspect of seeing yourself clearly. And the more you see yourself clearly, right, the more clearly you will be able to see your given circumstances and your inherent potential and the plethora of possibilities open to you, right? Oh, it's the beautiful tapestry of possibility, darlings, and I'm here for it. Wow, Pisceans, this was so beautiful. This was really lovely to connect in with your energy today. Thank you guys so much for being here. I so hope that this helped and resonated. If so, would you please do me a solid and let me know in the comments below. I love reading your comments. It's my favorite part. So holler at me in the comments. Let me know what's going on with y'all, how y'all roll is going, and just check in with me. I love to read it all. And just thank you as always, and most of all, for being you. And be well. Until next time.